Hello again, Steve here, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about how people don't listen to us. By and large, I guess it is. Mostly people don't, and unless we've somehow framed it in such a way that they have. And I say this as somebody who, of course, people don't listen to me either. And I put out messages and speeches and so on, and in varying degrees people do, but by and large they don't, as a general rule. And this idea of this presentation came about as a result of listening to a guy speak not long ago, and he made a comment very similar to this. The guy's name is Alan Jacks, and way back in the day, years and years ago, I did a course that he was putting on in Vancouver, and it was about wealth management and you know living a life that's productive and what have you, right? Like the whole thing. And it was a year long course where he brought in all kinds of different experts to somebody about wills and somebody about health and somebody about how to dress for success and all these sorts of different things right at the time. He did these over and over and over again, and I hadn't heard from him in years, heard about him in years, and then I'd recently seen him on a video. He was giving a part of a presentation. He was part of a seminar that was being given by somebody else. He'd been invited in, and one of the things he mentioned was that for years he did these seminars and these events and these trainings and whatever, and nobody really listened to what he was saying. Nobody took his advice to heart very strongly, except for this one person he mentioned, one or two maybe, but one in particular was the guy who was hosting the event that he was at, who had not only took his advice but went to work for Alan and figured out what he was doing and reverse engineered it and whatever, and he became very successful doing it. Well, it's not uncommon, is it? I remember another guy 2 years ago. He was a real estate seminar guy, and his name was Raymond Aaron, and he had this honest approach to him. I remember him saying basically at the beginning of the seminar, he says, most of you people won't do anything with this. Like, it doesn't matter how good it is, most of you won't do anything with it. So it's a it's a nature in a way for us to be skeptical, and of course, which means then, and part of the thing that I notice with myself is I'm not very good at the things that I say, and part of the reason why I talk about these things is for myself. It's sort of a self-soothing or a recap of what I should be doing. Because, for example, I've been on YouTube now for close to 10 years, 9 years. Didn't do much with it for many, many years, mind you, but still, you know, pushing in. I've got about 1,000 videos on this on the Coffee Chat channel, anyways, if it's called Coffee Chat or Flat Belly Steve, depending on what it's named when you're watching this. And I've got about close to 60,000 views on the channel combined, which means about an average of 60 views per video, which means that people by and large are not listening to me. Now, that's not because it's any of their fault. It's because it's largely to do with my fault. I mean, there's both going on there, right? Obviously, I'm not entertaining enough, engaging enough, or whatever it is. So, I guess there's a couple of ways that would help us to get people to be convinced that what it is that we're doing or we're saying or whatever has value. And as we talked about before, one of the things is the hook. Like, what is it? I don't put flashy thumbnails and stuff there. Maybe I should, right? And maybe it's not entertaining enough in terms of little pictures coming and going and so on like that. Maybe I should. All those sort of things create the hook, but then there has to be content behind it, right? I mean, think of somebody like Oprah. Oprah is objectively a failure at her managing her own weight. But if she was to write a book on managing her weight, on how to manage your weight, how to lose weight or whatever, she'd probably sell lots of books because she in herself is that interest. So people are always interested in what she says. But if she wasn't, then nobody would care. And especially if they knew that she was a failure at what she did at losing weight. Maybe not a failure at losing weight, but a failure at keeping it off over time. So this is, I think, where rhetoric comes in, and it's a lost art in a way for many of us, including myself, which is to use any form of hook, but continue to wrap continue to bring out those hooks as the process goes on to keep the person engaged, right? In whatever it is we're doing, business, relationships, dating, and so on. So, similar to what I talked about the other day with the funnel system, right? So that rhetoric, I once heard it said that, for statistics, there's lies, damn lies, and then there's statistics, right? Of course, I've heard it also said, I think, for the rhetoric, there's lies, there's damn lies, and then there's rhetoric, because it's mostly associated with lawyers and politicians and all these liars, right? However, if we're using forms of rhetoric to frame what it is we're trying to say in such a way that people stay engaged, and behind it all, we feel very strongly that what we have is valuable, then it's almost like a moral imperative to use that form. To use, we put up signs, make it the most attractive, and so on. That is, in a way, a form of rhetoric. It's an art of persuasion, because we want to persuade people to be involved with what we're doing, whether we're dating or creating a business or a podcast or whatever it is. We're trying to get people to be engaged with what we're doing. And the more effective we can be at that, the better off we can be. So that's just a few comments, I think, along the lines of why people don't listen. And I'm a good example of that. And not many people listen to what I'm saying. So this is a note to self. Figure out, Steve, how to be more persuasive and get people more engaged in the things that you're doing in your life. And it would be a good idea. But that might be something that other people could consider as well. So, if you like what I'm doing, once again, please like, subscribe, and share. And please comment in the box below and ding the bell if you want notifications. And we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.